What's up, everybody? It is the Dark Conservatarian back with another Dark Cancer. These things are getting rarer and rarer, but that might be more or less of a good thing because as they go later and later on, they get a little bit drier and drier in their content. Sometimes have a good episode, but sometimes it's just downright depressing. But anyway, yes, interesting story a little bit earlier. I ended up having a wasp entering my bedroom, and yeah, it was a little bit of a fright there, but thankfully I killed the fucker, and so we put that aside, and we can focus on the subject of this stream. That being, we are going to be talking about Avengers Endgame. This is going to be a spoiler review, so you have been warned. Again, spoilers for those who haven't seen it yet. Go watch it. Unless you haven't seen the other past MCU movies, well, then you'll be confused as fuck. But it's well worth the watch.
I still haven't seen Captain Marvel yet, so I might have been a bit lost when it comes to her.
Yep. Oh yeah. And we are off to a good start in the chat here, but yeah, so far I'm with Loudmouth Reviews here, professional movie reviewer, well-renowned movie reviewer, at least in our circles, anyways. Here to just talk about the movie and possibly about the MCU in general.
The MCU in general, I mean, it's certainly probably the most successful movie franchise of all time.
Yep.
I mean, it's been pretty much the Marvel Cinematic Universe has pretty much made Disney an empire that they never were when I was a kid. I mean, they were important when I was a kid too, but man, they have just been taking over the world, and it was primarily because of the fact that they bought Marvel Studios. Keep in mind, they have the full rights to all the Marvel characters, not just the movie box office, but also all the toys they sell, posters, shoes, shirts, all that stuff.
By the way, if any of you hear background noise, it's because I'm going to be slowly eating my dinner at the same time. But yeah, did they not buy the rights to Star Wars until well after the release of Iron Man?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay,
but, so if you think about it, Disney has been way, way more successful with their purchase of Marvel than their purchase of Star Wars, which both cost around $4 billion. So they both cost the same, but Marvel makes them a shit ton more money than Star Wars does.
And excuse me. There's actually this one thing that I saw. I think it might have been over Facebook or something, but there's a story about how Sony was offered up the rights to every Marvel character ever. They only picked Spider-Man. And the reason why they did not pick the rest of the Marvel characters, did not care enough to buy the rights of all the other Marvel characters, is because they were like, nobody gives a crap about those characters. No, actually, it was over the radio that I heard this. And then the radio announcer was all like, oh, I bet Sony are kicking their own asses now.
Oh, yeah, they are. Definitely. But, I mean, it could have failed as well. Really, Marvel had a really good model with the cinematic universe, the whole idea of creating all these vastly different characters and keeping them in continuity. It's actually a very difficult thing to do because obviously you can't have the same people direct all these movies in a short period of time. It's just not possible. And when you have multiple different filmmakers with conflicting visions, allowing them to do that and keep all the movies in continuity, make it be a cinematic universe, is actually a very difficult thing to do.
Well, there is one movie that did not retain the continuity, in which that's when we'll segue to addressing James Schultz chat in the chat. Well, he's actually the only person in the chat right now, and he said, at the Dark Conservatarian, Captain Marvel was when the MCU died. Changed my mind.
But unfortunately, I haven't seen the movie, so I can't really comment on it. I did watch what is it, this excellent new video Teal Deer did, which was really hilarious. They had one guy who was trying to there was a deleted scene in Captain Marvel where Captain Marvel assaults a guy just for going up to her, touching this paper that she was reading and asking her to smile. A moment where the acting was really bad. Like talking in a way that no guy would ever talk. It was basically like a caricature of what a feminist thinks that an asshole male acts like.
They were Teal Deer was reviewing the Legal Eagles review of that one scene from Captain Marvel, right?
Yes, that's what it was. And this guy was arguing that it was justified because he touched the paper, and thus that was assault. And then he shows another scene from the movie where Captain Marvel goes up to someone, Stan Lee's cameo, and touches a paper that he's reading, and just says, "Hey," which is, I'm like, that is so self-defeating.
Right.
But that's
well,
the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That guy's argument
I think
touching a paper is assault. Come on.
Okay, yeah, touching a paper. I was about to say, legally speaking, she does have jurisdiction to like defend herself, but at the same time, he only touched the paper. I mean, if he actually like unconsensually touched her physical self, well, then there would be more of a case that she's in legality to defend herself. But just the paper. I mean, morally speaking, I will say that again, morally speaking, she shouldn't have done that, but legally speaking, did she have jurisdiction to do it? I think that's what Legal Eagles.
I still wouldn't think so. The idea that not only strong arming him and assaulting him, but then robbing him after. Can you imagine, for example, if a random woman walked up to me and touched a book I was reading, and then I slugged her in the face? Do you think that would be people would be like, "Oh, well, she shouldn't have touched his book"? I don't think so.
You're right. Obviously not. So now that we reviewed that part, I guess that is one thing that is a big downer of I was about to say the MCU, but no, of Captain Marvel more specifically.
I can't really say too much about the movie because I have not seen the whole movie. I just thought that video Teal Deer made mocking that one guy's dumb defense of that scene was hilarious.
Yeah. Would you mind if I gone doing a spoiler review of Captain Marvel as well?
It's fine. I don't care.
All right. Loudmouth R. I'm just tweeting out the link to this stream. But anyway, yeah. My thoughts on Captain Marvel is that it was very mediocre. But the reason why I say that it is it doesn't maintain continuity all that well is primarily because of the way that they explain. By they I mean like the makers of Captain Marvel specifically, not the MCU as a whole, but the makers of Captain Marvel. The way that they explained off Nick Fury losing his eye was that he was scratched by a cat-like alien creature called Goose. I cannot remember what the name of the species was, but basically it's a cat, but not really a cat. It's kind of like a man-eating octopus disguised as a cat, essentially, and that's what Goose is. An octopus LARPing as a cat named Goose. But anyway, that Nick Fury essentially has so much of an affection on that cat to where he gets too close to the cat and gets scratched in the eye, and that's how they explain the origin of him losing his eye. I'm thinking to myself, oh, that is so cheap and cheesy. And after watching Mauler, you know who Mauler is, right?
Baller. Nah.
No, Mauler. Mauler.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, the guy is the one that does the Unbridled Rages, the Unbridled Rage movie reviews, like Star Wars, The Last Jedi, an Unbridled Rage. He got real popular with that one. But yeah, he did an Unbridled Meh. He did one called Captain Marvel, an Unbridled Meh. And in one part, he goes playing back some footage from a past MCU movie. I think it was Winter Soldier, actually, of where Nick Fury explains that why he lost his eye was because he put too much trust in one of his partners or something like that. And then a little bit later, Captain Marvel comes out and it's scratched by a cat. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure that Nick Fury did not consider the freaking cat his partner. That is a real stretch right there. Essentially, they play off Nick Fury. They turn Nick Fury into a liar about the origins of his eyes. That's probably the worst thing about it. The second worst thing about the movie is, I will say, yeah, the scene about Captain Marvel overreacting about the guy touching her paper,
that was
being an asshole.
that wasn't in the movie.
I thought I remembered it being actually in the movie. I can't
No,
remember.
it was a deleted scene. I'm pretty sure about that.
I don't know. But
Probably was deleted because it was terrible. Just because, like, the acting of that guy, my God, I hate shit like that in movies where you'll see someone act just basically in a stereotypical manner of a that far left people think that men act, toxic masculinity or whatever you call it.
yeah.
That's what that was. Basically, he was like Johnny Bravo, except not funny.
Oh yeah. But there was also another thing about the Captain Marvel movie that really goes up there as to how bad the movie is that, like, going towards the end of the movie, the entire movie, she has basically what one could call a restrainment on her neck, like a restrainer on her neck that restrains how much she can use her power. Like, the Kree are the ones that, like, took her in after she had lost her memory from an accident that gave her powers, and from that accident, they decided to put a restrainer on her neck. The whole time that she had it, she thought that it was the source of her powers, but no, she herself was essentially the source of her powers. Just a little thing on her neck was a restrainer. But as soon as she takes that restrainer off, going towards the end of the movie, she suddenly has the ability to, like, fly through space without a helmet and destroy entire fleets of ships suddenly. Like, going throughout a good portion of the movie, she knew how to use her powers somewhat. Like, I think she knew the basics of how to fly. Maybe, I don't know. I would have to. I do not know that specifically, but she definitely know how to shoot beams of energy out from her hands, and so that's fine.
Yep. And
That's
that was
fine right there.
in Endgame with her. The fact her scene at the end, and one minute she's powerful enough to destroy an entire ship all by herself, one of those giant fleet ships, and then the next minute Thanos is just able to throw her aside. Like, not consistent right there.
It is slightly inconsistent, but I am fine with her being able to have the ability to destroy ships. But it just has to be gradual. It has to be, it has to make sense as to how she was able to build up to learn how to master that ability. Within Captain Marvel, she suddenly, just from shooting bolts out of her hand, goes from that to, like, 5 minutes later, learn how to destroy entire ships. Like, it's just, that was, if anything, that was probably the biggest Mary Sue moment. Aside from that, I do not see a whole bunch of Mary Sue moments or third wave feminism charging the movie or anything like that. I mean, it was overall a big meh movie. The only really good thing about it was Samuel Jackson and the interactions that he had with characters. I mean, Captain Marvel, the interactions that she would have back and forth with Nick Fury was good, but that's only because, Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury. Captain Marvel as a character by herself could not stand by herself, really. And Brie Larson has pretty much wooden acting.
There was something in what is it, Endgame that wasn't ever made all that clear. In the 25 years between Endgame and Captain Marvel, because it's set in the mid-90s, she looks pretty much the same. Does Captain Marvel also not age? Is she immortal?
That is a good question. I would like the origins of the full abilities of her powers to be explained. Like, it's not like she's an Asgardian all of a sudden or something like that.
Yeah, I hate when characters just can do whatever the plot calls for them to do. Like, she can blow up a ship when they need a cool effect shot, but but Thanos can just toss her right aside when they really want Iron Man to to finish Thanos off.
Essentially, essentially, she's, like, become the MCU's cheat card. Like, whenever they get in a real fix, hey, just pull the Captain Marvel card out and she'll come in and just destroy everything. I mean, I don't think they can, like, logically. I definitely don't think they can logically pull that off once they pull in Galactus or Dormammu into the universe fully, anyways. But
Dormammu, I have come to bargain.
yes, but that is a
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
that is a bit of an inconsistency. But you know what's another inconsistency is that one moment Thanos is able to toss her like a rag doll, but then the next minute he isn't. When he tries to headbutt her, she doesn't hardly flinch an inch. That did not make much sense right there.
Here's a question. Overall, what was the superior movie, Endgame or Infinity War?
That's hard for me to tell. I mean, I would probably say for right now, Endgame, but it's completely understandable if you like Infinity War better, because Infinity War did have more action in the totality of the movie, whereas Endgame pretty much had an action scene here and there, but the main action, the only real action scene worthy of note was was the ending battle scene. You know, when after they get the stones completely on the nanotech gauntlet that Tony Stark had made, and
also the fact
Hulk
that
snaps away, snaps all of the entire universe population back. Sorry.
Also the time travel elements really introduced some continuity errors into that movie. That was the thing, because the biggest thing was the end fate of Captain America. There are a lot of plot holes. It kind of seemed to contradict a lot of the rules that established about how time travel works.
Conundrum, you fat motherfucker! About time that you show up on one of these live streams. How you doing, bro?
What's up? What's up?
Been a while.
Oh,
You've
yeah.
been speaking of busy people, loudmouth. Conundrum here, real busy guy.
I bet.
But yeah, we're just reviewing Avengers Endgame. Have you seen it yourself, Conundrum?
Oh, yes, and I've seen the spoilers also.
Right. I've seen a lot of videos that are reviewing just tiny little aspects of the movie. Like, wouldn't even be reviewing the entire movie, just reviewing tiny aspects like, why is it that Thor is the way that he is in Endgame in comparison to Infinity War? Or why is it that Professor Hulk had such a struggle trying to snap back the universe's population, whereas Thanos could much easily snap away the entire or half of the universe's population, and how Tony Stark, he was able to easily enough snap away Thanos and his army. And essentially the explanation that has been told to me as to why Hulk struggled and Stark and Thanos did not is because Hulk tried to do the impossible. He tried to snap half of the entire universe back, including Black Widow. He tried to do the impossible with Black Widow. And that makes perfect sense to me, because Black Widow, she did not die by Infinity Stone snap. She died by, falling off a ledge. And not to mention the fact that her own soul was the thing that was given in trade for the Soul Stone. So basically, you're using the Soul Stone on top of the other 5 stones to try to bring back the source of what got you the Soul Stone in the first place.
Yeah, so that was the reasoning why they couldn't bring her back at the end.
It makes perfect sense to me.
How it should have ended had a funny twist on that when they're fighting over who does it. Like, no, it has to be me, Hawkeye. You have a family. No, and Hawkeye's like, no, it has to be me. You are significantly more attractive than I am.
Yeah.
I wasn't that big a fan of Heisch's recent 2 movies regarding the MCU. Like Infinity War. Well, actually, they made 2 for Infinity War. The second one they did, Thanos sacrifices his own throne instead of Gamora. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, it's so fucking stupid. For one thing, I did not see it as that comedic. Now, of course, humor is subjective, but I did not see it that funny. And plus, on a cinematic level of things, does he really love his own throne more than Gamora? I mean, that completely is utterly freaking stupid if that really was.
Right, that's exactly why he didn't, because it made it clear it had to be someone you love.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't sacrifice the throne anyway, because judging by that throne, he's a big Game of Thrones fan.
Okay.
Yeah, honest trailers referred to Infinity War as Game of Stones.
I see. There was I can't remember what Heish pulled up regarding Endgame. Oh yeah, sacrificing Red Skull instead of Black Widow for the Soul Stone. That did not make any sense at all. Like, for one thing, even if he was to suddenly offer up his own life for the Soul Stone, Black Widow and Hawkeye, they don't know jack shit about freaking Red Skull. So why would they suddenly love him?
Though, it's a comedy show. You can't really take it that seriously.
And the thing is, with Red Skull, he was sort of like a phantom chasing after, trying to acquire the Soul Stone, but can never get it.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember Infinity War, he actually talked about how he's guarding over it, but he can never attain it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying, when it comes to Captain America living out his life with Peggy like that, there are so many unanswered questions to that. All right, one, if it was, all right, the rules of time travel it created said that it would send you to an alternate reality, so it didn't really change the past of your main timeline.
Right.
But Captain America at the end is just sitting there as an old man, implying that he lived out his life in the main MCU timeline, which would contradict the rules of time travel completely. And if he did exist in an alternative timeline, then what about Bucky? Since he knew Bucky was being tortured and held prisoner for 70 years, did he really just spend all his time in that reality with Peggy and just leave Bucky to rot? There's so many unanswered questions. Or the fact that he knew that Hydra had infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. the entire time, and Peggy Carter was one of the main founders of S.H.I.E.L.D. Would he not have told them about that?
I don't know. He probably was not one to affect the timeline that largely. He probably was intentionally trying not to go out of his way to affect the timeline, just to
and Peggy Carter
end up making things worse or something. Sorry.
Don't forget the relationship between Stark and Howard. Peggy Carter and Howard Stark.
The relation what?
Well, they had like a sort of relationship thing, because if you watch the Agent Carter series, you would know that.
Okay.
Cap knew about it the whole time.
I'm not so sure if he did, but I don't know. I cannot hardly take the. I haven't seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I do not know of how well that connects with the MCU personally.
I was saying it's totally out of Captain America's character to ever just hang by and hang out in hiding while friends of his are suffering. Captain America was a fighter who always would fight for what was right.
And the thing is, wouldn't the super soldier serum delay his aging a bit?
Don't know.
I mean, we keep him a little bit younger looking.
Not necessarily.
I thought he would look like a little bit like Old Man Logan a bit.
Don't know. I mean, ultimately, he through all the journeys that he's been through in the past, and then in the future, and then back to the past, and then aging all that time, he probably in totality was around 95 years old or something like that, and yet he looked more along the lines of late 70s at most. So I would think that maybe the super soldier serum did slow down his aging just a little bit, but not much. I mean, otherwise, if it did not do anything, he probably would have ended up in a wheelchair or something. But as we see there, he doesn't have a wheelchair, doesn't have a cane or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I can imagine that it did for just a little bit. But mentioning Captain America, that now that you mention it, the biggest I had been thinking about this. The biggest plot hole regarding that is, how did Captain America not end up creating his own alternative timeline, and in reality it instead reconnected with the current, with the main timeline?
Maybe he found a way to travel back from that alternative timeline he lived out his life in, and found a way back. I don't know. It's really confusing. Because, if he was really there the entire time, as some suggested that he was actually Peggy's husband the entire time, all right, that would leave a whole bunch of questions. That would mean that he kissed his granddaughter or something.
Yeah,
his grandniece.
and
In Captain America: Civil War, he made out with his grandniece, which would be kind of creepy.
and wouldn't and why wasn't he at the funeral when Peggy Carter died?
Yeah, that's a damn good question. He wouldn't have noticed his younger self there. Yeah. So it had to have been in an alternate timeline because nothing else makes any goddamn sense. But even that it leads to issues because then you're wondering how the hell did he get back? You have a lot of explaining to do, man.
Yep.
That's probably so many unanswered questions there.
I saw Micah Curtis's review of Endgame, and he said like the only big time con of that movie was the plot holes, particularly that with Captain America. And at first, what I thought was a plot hole was the fact that Thor took Mjolnir from the past and took it with him to the present. But then thinking back on the way that time mechanics that they designed it for their universe works, or actually, no, it took me some more paying attention to do. Like, duh, Captain America took Mjolnir with him. So obviously he was putting that back
to its original time.
Yeah, he was putting that back to its original time along with the rest of the stone. Yeah. So he wasn't just using that as a weapon. He was taking it to return it, Zach, you absolute dumbass. So that was my bad at first there.
And my thing is, I wish Loki knew about the time travel mechanic, because we all know Loki. If he saw Cap on Asgard, but wouldn't he be in jail still during that timeline where they took Mjolnir back?
I don't know.
Because Loki's, I'm kind of upset that Loki didn't come back.
Well, he kind of did.
That is America's ass.
He kind of did, but only his own past self, like for a very brief cameo. But I'm glad that they left him dead along with Vision, because some characters had to die, and now Iron Man is dead as well. Captain America is retired, pretty soon gonna die with the way that the timeline is working and whatnot. So I'm glad that we dropped some characters, because that makes it a nice bittersweet end to the movie right there.
Yeah, Iron Man got a heroic finale. Probably not a coincidence that the highest paid actors in the Marvel Cinematic Universe were all the ones that killed off in this movie.
Yeah.
Unless they get somebody else to play Cap and they do the whole Secret Empire timeline for Phase 4, where Cap was a sleeper agent for Hydra.
I don't know. No, I don't want them to do the sleeper agent thing. They already did play like an homage to the sleeper agent thing when, Captain America said Hail Hydra to the Hydra shields that were like acting, or Hydra agents that were acting as shield agents. He said Hail Hydra to them. That was supposed to be kind of an homage to that
but he was
comic retcon. Without completely betraying the character of Captain America. So I like the way that they pulled that off. And there's so many small things to review about this movie that were just great. Obviously Iron Man finally finding his inner peace and that he gets to kill Thanos, and freaking Pepper reassures him that you can rest now, basically reassuring him of his inner peace, and then he dies. That's just tearjerker right there.
It was set up in Infinity War, as you saw Doctor Strange give up the Time Stone in order to save Tony Stark. Why would he do such a thing? Because he probably saw that Tony Stark was vital to Thanos' ultimate defeat.
Yeah, and also saw that Tony would, if he survived, would grow to raise a family. Family of one, but still.
Yeah, but
I don't think that was the reason. It was the reason was that Thanos would have destroyed the universe hadn't Tony Stark not been there to stop him.
Yeah. But the other thing,
really good subversive trick that this movie would kill off Thanos in the first 10 minutes. You total it out, everyone comes into this expecting a long, drawn-out fight with Thanos, but they find him in less than 10 minutes and they kill him in one. They don't even really, it's not even a battle. Just and like Thor, there, I went for the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing that really pissed me off is they were building up hype with Adam Warlock and shit. I'm like, ooh, we finally get Adam Warlock. And then I seen the movie. It's like, oh, this is a letdown.
Well, they're building up for that for Guardians 3 and Phase 4, I thought.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like they completely dropped that timeline that we so far know anyway.
Yeah, and how we're saying about Captain America not going against with the thing going against his principles. Didn't he go against his principles with the time travel thing?
I don't think Captain America had any principles when it came to time travel.
No,
I mean,
the whole thing of because if you remember in Age of Ultron, Cap was happy and content with his life, being fallout out and the war's over, everyone's dead and dying.
well,
Yeah.
Content that the war is over. I mean, you got to remember that the time that Captain America went back to, the war was over.
Yeah. I'm talking about the whole thing with the fact that he's out of his time. He was a soldier from his time, and in Age of Ultron, he was content with that.
Well, you got to remember, like, there is character development right there. I mean, let's remember that throughout a lot of Endgame, he does go thinking back on Peggy Carter, and ultimately, when he goes back in time with Tony to the 1970s to 1970, which, by the way, Peggy Carter I think should have looked older at that time. But anyway, that's besides the point. He sees Peggy Carter, and then I guess he had like a change of heart right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it would not surprise me that he had a change of heart right there. And you know what's another thing that they developed with Tony Stark is that originally in Iron Man 2, he was not wanting his own weapons and, you know, basically, well, the Avengers weren't around at the time, but in Iron Man 2, he did not want his weapons to get in the hands of the U.S. military or anything like that. But then, fast forward to Captain America's Civil War, he has kind of a change of heart on that, and he wants to put the Avengers, not just his own suits, but the entire Avengers in control of an even bigger government entity, that being the UN. So that's a change of character on Tony's part.
Yeah, true. When Tony became all SJW.
What?
That's what I say about Tony. He became the whole thing about him.
I did not see it really as SJW.
I'm joking.
No, I'm sure one certain YouTuber certainly done a video about SJW moments in this movie.
Oh yeah, that I think his name rhymes with what's his name? Crooks.
Yeah.
Crooks.
Yeah, probably. Let me guess. I'll sum up his arguments. This movie was social justice warrior propaganda because there are women in it who refuse to date him.
Avengers Endgame review, emergency, awesome. The real reason.
Maybe that joke didn't land. I don't know.
But I love the fact that Captain Marvel got beaten by Thanos. We were thinking, oh great, she's gonna beat up Thanos. Nope, pink Thanos.
No, I'm glad that they ultimately had it up to Tony to kill Thanos and Thor in a way, but yeah, if they had Captain Marvel kill Thanos, there would have been huge outrage because not only of the whole Mary Sue complex, but also because there was no buildup for the rivalry between them two, except that she had lost Nick Fury, whom she barely knew, by the way.
She's a character that was just introduced a couple months before this movie came out. I mean, this was meant to be for the original Avengers.
We all knew if Brie Larson defeated Thanos, she would have had the biggest boner ever on screen.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I know.
Do not remind me back to Mr. Dapperton's alternate ending scenario he had conjured up. Like, no joke. Mr. Dapperton, this is, of course, satire, so this wasn't an actual deleted scene that he had found. But he was just playing it off that the Russos supposedly were planning on having the ending of it be a dick measuring contest. Literally a dick measuring contest for possession of the Soul Stones.
That would be the porno parody of this movie.
And then ultimately, The twist of it is that Captain Marvel has the biggest dick, has ultimately the bigger dick than Thanos.
Yeah, I love some dirty grade school level humor as much as anyone, but I don't know.
Scorch88 in the chat says he became more statist, referring to Tony Stark in the part with freaking Captain America Civil War, which essentially that is it.
Yeah.
And it is a
kind
bit
of
of
always was meant to be Iron Man. He was always kind of meant to be the Law and Order billionaire type of superhero.
I always thought he was supposed to be that. Him and his dad were supposed to be based on Howard Hughes.
Yeah, he was Howard Hughes if Howard Hughes wasn't crazy.
Yeah. True. I got to give you credit on that one.
Was there anything that you guys outright disliked about Endgame or Infinity War?
Other than the plot holes, I would probably say it was overall a really good movie, but it definitely had a few plot holes that kind of held it back.
Yeah,
I gotta say, Professor Hulk. I didn't like that.
What about Professor Hulk?
I would think he would go to more World Breaker Hulk.
That would have been awesome, is if they had like tapped into World Breaker Hulk, but unfortunately, no, they're gonna just leave that.
Yeah, gotta make the Hulk, a Professor Hulk. Don't you remember they'd be giving the Hulk erectile dysfunction?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I can't. But the Professor Hulk idea, it was unique. You kind of it was a new take on the Hulk, but I hope they find some way to bring back the old dumb Hulk.
If you want to go with the old Hulk, he'll be gray.
Hardy, har.
No, I'm being honest. The Hulk was originally gray. Joe Fix-It.
Yeah, there was a few gray hairs.
They changed it just because green was easier to color.
Yeah.
They did. Gray. You're talking about gray skin. I thought you were talking about gray hair. But yeah. No, they had a few gray hairs on Professor Hulk. Honestly, I don't really care either way if they go back to classic Hulk, but ultimately I do want to see some more smashing, like maybe Bruce Banner, he can like actually man up, his mentality anyways about fighting, and then actually fight some motherfuckers. Like in Endgame, all that we see him do is like throw a few of Thanos's minions around, and that's it. And of course he holds up like the entire Avengers HQ, or at least that piece of it that was falling on him, Rhodey and Rocket. He was just at least holding that part, but that wasn't very heroic.
Eventually they need to bring back classic Hulk, and they need to have him fight Wolverine.
No, they should also bring She-Hulk.
Oh man, there's so many things about.
I remember the She-Hulk from the '90s show. I was shocked at the number of sexual innuendos that character got away with on a kids show.
I know. I would like to see how they ended. Remember the Incredible Hulk? Not the Ang Lee piece of shit movie, but the other one with Abomination.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see the leader, because they were hitting up to the leader coming out.
Yeah, the MCU totally forgot about that. Well, they'll have to somehow explain where he's been this whole time. Or then again, maybe not. Maybe they could just have it set between Avengers 2 and 3 or something.
Yeah.
Maybe they can before Avengers 2 and 3?
They can make us another standalone Hulk movie, but have it set like 5 years earlier or something.
Yeah, they're doing that with Taskmaster, actually.
Are
they? They're doing that with Black Widow, I hear, as well. They're going to make a Black Widow origin story.
Yeah, and they're going to have Taskmaster in it.
They'll be able to they'll probably digitally de-age Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Same way they did with Nick Fury.
Yeah. But I would love
that awesome technology they got that they can digitally de-age actors like that.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was what they did with Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I thought it might have.
Yeah, they de-aged Samuel L. Jackson 25 years.
I thought at first they just used like really good makeup or something.
No, that was computer animation. They basically looked at how Sam Jackson looked in the 90s, and they wanted to make him match up with that.
Oh, did they use the movie that he was a crackhead in?
Yeah, they looked at Pulp Fiction, and they said make him look exactly like he does in Pulp Fiction.
Oh, good. It wasn't
minus the afro.
It wasn't Boys in the Hood. They didn't use.
I strike fiery vengeance upon thee, and they'll know that my name is the Lord.
Let's see. What I really cannot wait for is the third Guardians installment.
Yeah.
I want to I think Guardians of the Galaxy is like one of my most favorite franchises so far of the MCU. It's probably mostly because it's reminiscent a lot in the ways of Star Wars.
Yeah.
What, Loudmouth?
I'm really not excited for any future MCU products anymore. Honestly, like Endgame feels like the end of the MCU for me. I don't approach them with the excitement I used to.
That is a thing right there. I mean, how much longer are they going to milk the MCU?
It's not even that. It's just Disney in general. I generally try to avoid movies that are made by Disney, with some exceptions like Toy Story 4, because I don't like how big that they've gotten. They've really become a monopoly.
Oh, yeah. I hate it with
them buying out all of 20th Century Fox. Holy shit.
Pretty soon they're going to have the rights to X-Men, considering the fact of how badly Dark Phoenix did. They do?
Yeah, once the deal became finalized, they got back the rights to X-Men.
Okay.
That's the thing I hated, the Dark Phoenix movie. Oh, that was an abortion.
You watched it?
Dark Phoenix was made before Disney acquired the rights to X-Men. We're eventually, a few years down the road, going to get a proper X-Men reboot in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
That was what I was wondering right there, Loudmouth, was. Oh, excuse me. The timeline of when they started making freaking Dark Phoenix. But you've seen Dark Phoenix, Conundrum?
Yeah, yes. And afterwards, I went in the shower and cried myself because I felt like I was raped.
Oh, shit.
I haven't even seen Dark Phoenix. Don't particularly want to, because I think Fox's X-Men movie should have ended at Logan.
Yeah.
Logan was the perfect ending for the Fox X-Men movies. And honestly, Logan is a better movie than the vast majority of MCU movies.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I would say that and Days of Future Past. I love Days of Future Past.
So Logan is an absolutely great movie. It's just phenomenal.
Logan, its character dynamics and interactions between Xavier, Logan himself, and that's primarily that's the main character interactions that I can really name off. As far as main character interactions, anyways.
And don't forget about Xavier, Logan, and 23's interactions.
Well, 23, mostly it was. I cannot remember of when that she started talking, but it was very late in the movie when she actually started speaking English to her dad and whatnot. Yeah. But most of the movie
gave Logan a daughter.
Right. Most of the movie was interactions between Xavier and Logan, though, and plus the side characters, like there's the farmers about halfway through the movie. Yeah. My main thing about Logan, though, is that it had a very small scale. That movie was just for the sake of making Wolverine violent, which is fine, by the way.
What I love about it. That's refreshing. Not every fucking superhero movie needs to have a giant city exploding monster or something.
That's fine. And that's fine. And you know what? As far as a city exploding monster, it doesn't necessarily have a city exploding monster for it to have a grand scale, or at least in my opinion, anyway.
Well, anyways, I don't think a grand scale. It's cool every now and then, but I don't think every superhero movie needs that.
Yeah,
I guess not, but it just Logan was kind of underwhelming in some ways, and I guess because of the lack of scale, or at least the way that they played the scale, anyways, was what kind of drove it down for me. And plus, the ending, I did not like of how that Logan was like almost constantly sleeping, like towards the last third of the movie. Like the last third of the movie felt more like a teen novel based movie than anything else, because the movie was becoming more focused around this band of kids that were trying to escape the adults that were trying to capture them. You know,
Yeah.
stereotypical of teen novel movies like Maze Runner, Hunger Games, and other such things like that.
Well, another thing about Logan, it kind of did the same thing that Star Wars: The Last Jedi tried to do, but it did it better. Because there's a lot of similarities between Logan's journey in that movie and Luke Skywalker's journey in The Last Jedi, but it feels more earned in Logan than it did in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, don't bring up The Last Jedi. That's another movie I hate.
Yeah, it seemed like that they not only combined essentially Luke Skywalker's plot line, but also what was the name of the ship? You know what I'm talking about. The Nebulon B frigate that's like trying to drive away from the main First Order fleet. They like combined. It seemed that they combined both of those plot lines into Logan, because Logan. What?
The ship was called Home One. That was Admiral Akbar's flagship.
What? No, that wasn't Home One. Home One is the bubbly-looking ship from Episode 6 that Akbar is in. Yeah. The Nebulon B frigate in Star Wars Episode 8 is a different name ship. Okay. I remember it being something else, but I can't remember exactly what it is. And that's another disappointment, is that how they did not do more justice to Admiral Akbar. But
yeah, but besides that, I mean, the similarities with it and Logan, both are kind of like older, decrepit versions of their former selves after some kind of disaster happened between movies that's a little bit vague. And because of that, the main character has become kind of dispirited, but through kind of a daughter-like figure that's introduced to him, eventually he gets a second wind, and then he comes and makes an ultimate heroic sacrifice for the rest of the troop, comes back, proves as the hero he once was one last time.
And
see the similarities between Logan and Luke Skywalker and The Last Jedi. There's a lot of similarities, but again, it felt more satisfying in Logan.
And plus, they were trying to escape the bad guys in the same way that, like I said, the Nebulon B frigate in Star Wars 8 was trying to escape from the First Order fleet. But it was done more right, because oh man, Mahler did like a review, or I don't know. It might have. It's just a whole culmination of different reviewers reviewed Star Wars Episode 8, and I can't remember which exact one.
Some of the complaints against that movie are valid. I still maintain I don't think it's as bad as some people think it is.
Yeah.
But it definitely did a few things wrong, and I see why people dislike it.
I feel like some of that movie, I just want to do the Phaelus meme going, great continuity.
Yeah.
So, is there anything more that we have to say about Avengers Endgame, though, as Avengers the title
Endgame, that was what the stream was about. What other scenes in that movie? The time travel, a lot of it was nostalgia pandering, because if you think about it, the Marvel Cinematic Universe for a kid, let's say under the age of 15, was kind of like something that they grew up with their entire lives. I'm a little bit older, so I live half my life without it, but for someone much younger than me, it's just kind of always been there. So the kind of nostalgia pandering to the various earlier movies, I see why that worked for a lot of people.
No, nostalgia pandering, like the cheeseburgers line during Tony's funeral or right after it.
No, mostly the fact that they time travel to like earlier movies. Like, remember these earlier movies?
I'm surprised Coulson didn't come out.
I think they did the quote unquote pandering right, though, Loudmouth.
I thought opinion. They did it right. Like, I've seen it run really badly in other movies, but here it was done pretty well. But I'm saying that is what they were doing. It was ultimately very it tried to pander to nostalgia.
I
Disney
didn't.
does that a lot nowadays. Like Disney, it pretty much makes all their money pandering to nostalgia nowadays. They rarely ever come up with new ideas.
Yeah, I didn't
There's a
hear
lot of their,
everything that you said, so that was my bad.
like a lot of their attempts to though have been financial failures, so I almost don't blame them. Like movies like A Wrinkle in Time, original, or Tomorrowland. Yep, all flops that didn't really work.
I saw.
That one with John, the one with the Mars guy. He went to Mars.
John Carter of Mars.
Yeah.
Somebody explained to me that John Carter was essentially Star Wars' attempt at making their own version of, or Disney's attempt of trying to make their own version of Star Wars. Just kind of like in the way that Narnia was like their own attempt of making their own version of Lord of the Rings.
That's true. I mean, keep in mind, it came out 6 months before Disney got the rights to Star Wars.
John Carter?
Yeah.
I thought John Carter was more attuned to Flash Gordon in a way.
Well, it's based on a novel called Ghosts of Mars from 1917. A novel that's over 100 years old.
For some reason, I thought John Carter was a lot older than what you implied it to be, Loudmouth.
Well, the novel was, but the movie came.
I was talking about
1912, 6 months before Star Wars, before they got the rights to Star Wars. But it was a box office flop, and thus there were plans for like a sequels and a huge franchise, but they were abandoned after the movie's poor box office. And then Disney got the rights to Star Wars, so that became their vehicle for sci-fi fantasy.
They were like, "Fuck this shit. Let's go for the better thing similar to it."
Right. And even though with John Carter, the books are public domain, so pretty much anyone could adapt the rest of the books if they wanted to. But because of how old they are, but no one seems to want to.
Yeah.
And then I have to say, my only complaint in Endgame was that I wish they had Coulson in it.
Yeah, that would have been good.
It would have been a nice homage to the character, but it's not a big snag for me.
If it wasn't for Coulson, the Avengers wouldn't have been made into a team.
Okay. Well,
yeah. You know, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he actually survived his death in the Avengers, but that's never acknowledged in any of the big screen Marvel movies. So if you only watch the big screen movies and avoid the TV shows, Coulson did die in the Avengers.
Yeah. What kind of did disappoint me? What kind of did disappoint me about Endgame is that they did not have Nebula fight more than she actually did.
Yeah. And my thinking with the Coulson scene, he could have said this. They said, "What happened to you? I thought you were dead." "No, I just went to Tahiti."
Oh. But back on Nebula, though, with Nebula's character arc and whatnot, it looked like that they were building up to something big, like all the way back to Infinity War, in fact. How she tried to kill her own dad and then gets captured, and then she does ultimately get to fight Thanos in some parts, in a little bit of Infinity War. Certainly a whole lot more than she did in Endgame. And I thought in Endgame she was going to play a more pivotal role. Like, she played a very pivotal role as far as the plot goes. Like, she is basically the key that made past Thanos, be able to catch up with the Avengers and ultimately come damn near close to winning and defeating them in the ending of Endgame. Yeah. But ultimately, I would have liked to see some more Nebula action. Like, I will say, though, that the most badass part of her was, okay, there were two badass parts. When she is like in the midst of that turkey shoot and she shoots her own past self. And also the part of when that she like puts her robotic hand through the force field to grab the I can't remember. I think it was a space stone. Can't remember.
Yeah.
That part was pretty badass as well.
Yeah. I wonder what if they're going to introduce Nova in the new Guardians movie.
Nova. I haven't watched I haven't read any of the comics or anything.
Well, the Nova Corps, he was the last embodiment of the Nova Corps before the Nova Corps got destroyed. And Thanos in Infinity War actually said that he destroyed the Nova Corps.
So there's this one chick named Nova that you think they're going to introduce in Guardians 3?
No, Nova was not a chick. It was always a guy.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah. He was the embodiment of all the Nova Corps put into one.
I heard something about Adam. What is the guy's full name?
Adam Warlock.
Adam Warlock. Yeah, Adam Warlock that they kind of teased at the end of Guardians 2. I hear that ultimately that they're going to make him the bad guy. I think like in the comics he was originally the bad guy, but then he turns good. And he was supposed to originally help in Infinity War, I think it was.
Yeah.
But they did not incorporate that into the MCU. But it will be cool if like he's at first a bad guy and then becomes a good guy to help fight the big bad guy. That will be Galactus or Dormammu or something like that. Or the same way that Loki was a bad guy for most of the time, but then became a good guy ultimately, trying to kill Thanos and failed badly, but still. Sorry?
They're thinking about having Victor Von Doom as a villain, which is going to be cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. And if they do that, that would be great with Doctor Strange because of the one Doctor Strange story where Doctor Strange went into this thing where it's a magician's duel and everything, and they actually brought Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom came in second place, and he got a boon.
What do you think would be a better idea on how that they would incorporate Doom? Should they make like Doom's own movie that has Doctor Strange and the Fantastic Four as just basically side characters, but most of the movie centers around Doom? Or if they have like Doctor Strange 2 or Fantastic Four and Doom is just, is the antagonist?
I would love to see Doctor Doom have his own standalone movie. That would be great. A villain's movie.
That would actually be awesome because goddamn was Doctor Doom ruined in Fox's Fantastic Four movies.
And the way that I hear his lore, for that matter, they ruined him in the early 2000s Fantastic Four too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another one of Fox's movies.
I mean, I think he was done a little bit more justice. Not much, not near full justice, but a little bit more justice in the early 2000s.
He was a standard villain in that movie, and then he was even worse in the 2015 one.
Yeah.
2015.
I mean, who could have... I don't know. He wanted to destroy the human race in the universe. Just, I don't know, because why not?
Yeah. And the thing is with Doctor Doom, he's a compelling villain. The only thing he wants to do is see his mom.
Really, that's the story.
Yeah. I think he has an Oedipus complex almost. Because if it wasn't for his mother, he wouldn't have been the ruler of Latveria, basically.
Oedipus. What is Oedipus complex again?
That's when you have a real love for your mother, a real special type of love.
Okay, I couldn't remember if like the Oedipus, the official term of it, implied sexual love or anything like that. So I was kind of on edge for a second there.
Actually, his mother died when he was young, and she was like a sorceress. And the thing is, she sold her soul to the devil.
Okay, so basically Doom's own...
Yeah, he declares revenge against the devil himself, Mephisto.
Yeah, that would be great if Doctor Doom has a standalone movie. We'll get Peter Fonda back.
Peter Fonda. Is that the guy who played as Doctor Doom in the early 2000s?
No, he played as the devil in Ghost Rider.
Well, no, because we have seen a Ghost Rider in the MCU, and it's very different than the Peter Fonda version.
It was that Robbie Rodriguez guy.
Yeah.
Was he in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
They used Ghost Rider in it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I like the second Ghost Rider better than the first one. far as the Nicolas Cage to go.
Honestly, both the Nicolas Cage movies are pretty crappy.
They are, but at least with the second one, the action was better and the special effects for Ghost Rider were far superior.
And Cage was at his cagiest.
Yeah, sure. If you're a big time Nicolas Cage fan, but that's kind of hit and miss as far as people being fans of Nicolas Cage.
I did want to see the movie Mandy with him in it.
But yeah, Dr. Doom, like going on the journey to trying to search down for the devil. Like in the origins, he becomes both a master of technology and magic.
Yeah, that's why I like Dr. Doom so much.
So he tries to use magic to try to get in touch with the afterlife, with hell or whatever, and try to hunt down the devil. That would be very interesting. I mean, especially with all these realms.
Much a more interesting motive than in Josh Trank's piece of shit, where he comes back and he decides, I don't know, I don't like humans anymore. Fuck you guys, I'm gonna destroy the world because rah.
What?
Bad guy, I have a metal face. Rawr.
No. Oh god, that movie was so bad.
Dr. Doom. I take it that his that the thing that makes him a villain is that he's an ends justifies the means type of guy. The ends being he wants to get his mother's soul back from the devil, and the means being he's willing to kill anyone and even everyone that is necessary for it.
True, and he has the greatest thing ever. You know, he can never be brought to justice. You know why? Diplomatic immunity.
Right, because he's the governor of Latveria.
No, dictator of Latveria.
Dictator, okay.
Yeah, let's. Can we all throw Owen to Latveria? He would be great fuel for the Doombots.
Oh, brother. Yeah, I don't much want to like bring up Owen, especially out of left field like that.
Okay. Okie dokes.
I mean, I do plan on making a substantive response video to Owen here soon and have it mirrored on my 2 Cents channel. But aside from that, I don't want to be talking about Owen drama really on this stream.
No,
hey, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
Always that shit with a 10-foot pole.
All right. Sorry, guys. I apologize.
Been
a while.
The last episode of Dark Cancer was devoted a lot to Owen, amongst other things. Like in last episode, we were talking about all the things we were talking about. We were talking about some nerd things and talking about in some parts about abortion. And
what about we haven't talked about Fat Thor. What did people think of Fat Thor?
Okay. I did not dislike that plot line as much as other people did. Like
I actually love Fat Thor. I thought that was an awesome idea.
Yeah,
I liked it too. It showed that Thor basically was defeated.
I like it for the time, anyways, because it shows that he's only, well, even though he's actually Asgardian, but it shows that he's human, that he does have his significant flaws and whatnot.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I hope that he gets back into shape in Guardians 3. But
they definitely will. But
I'm not thinking that they
find it funny because it's again so many times in these movies they've relied on gratuitous shirtless shots of Hemsworth for the female audience, thus making him fat. For this movie was kind of funny, like because the opposite of how his character has been portrayed.
It was like a big fat middle finger to all the high school and college age girls that be fawning over him.
Damn right it is. You better be attracted to us fat dudes, okay? You can marry Chris Hemsworth, and then the next thing you know, he's a fat guy.
I remember the quartering in one of his videos. He said, "I don't see any fat bearded guys in the MCU," and then somebody in the comment section said, "Fat Thor, hold my beer."
Was that after Endgame he said that or before?
No, it was after Endgame had been released.
Okay, yeah, well, they did do it that one time.
So quartering was being an idiot. or at least he was being freaking forgetful, anyways. And then people in the comment section were all like, "Fat Thor, dude, Fat Thor." They even had Fat Thor fighting.
They give him a fat belly, but his face looks unaffected. All right, I guess I don't know. Asgardians, they only get fat on their stomachs, and they don't grow double chins.
He did get flabby around the arms and pecs too.
When I saw Fat Thor on the screen, I'm like, gee, I didn't know War Corpse was on part of the MCU.
I remember there was one tone-deaf article was talking by some dumbass social justice warrior talking about how Fat Thor was there to give the movie better representation of fatter audiences. I'm like, no, dumbass. It was in the movie because it's funny.
Okay,
you stupid son of a bitch.
It was funny, and it was also meant to add another plot line, that being Thor's depression. But yeah. Okay, so you're happy that they made Thor fat. Okay, here, have your cookie, SJW. Now, shut the fuck up. Okay, speaking of SJWs, what really pissed me off is that people made such a big tizzy over the fact that they did not have any gay characters in Endgame.
Yeah, they did.
They did? What gay character did they have in
I remember at the beginning when Captain America's at that that support group, there was a gay character there, played by one of the movie's directors.
Oh, well, okay. They did not have like the they did not have any of the main characters gay, I guess was their issue.
I know what Zach is saying. I mean, Mr. Dark Khan is saying.
You can call me Zach or Dark Khan. I don't care.
All right, Dark Lesbo. All right, I see what it is. They didn't have any gay superheroes. Basically, they did not have North Star or Iceman.
Essentially.
Well, there actually was a deleted scene apparently in the movie where Thor would try to kiss Valkyrie and she would turn him down, which was meant to imply that she was a lesbian.
Of course Valkyrie was a lesbian. Everybody knew she was. She's probably bisexual.
Valkyrie is a lesbian
or whatever. Yeah, but she's never openly and obviously bisexual in the movies yet.
Yeah. Well, I'm certainly glad that they did not make her a love interest. Like there was like throughout Thor Ragnarok, Thor is stumbling to try to even talk to Valkyrie and interact with her and whatnot. And people, it was almost like a goofy implication of maybe he was being starstruck by her just a little bit, but I'm glad that they haven't made any further implications of that and that they're just going to essentially have like a platonic, almost brother-sister type of relationship more than anything.
Yeah. In the deleted scene, she just turns him down when he tries to kiss her.
Sorry, what?
So I get it now. They're having a Lannister relationship.
Lannister relationship? I don't think I get the metaphor.
Jaime and Cersei Lannister?
Never heard of them.
Game of Thrones?
Dude, you watch Game of Thrones?
That explains it. I haven't watched Game of Thrones.
Damn!
I'm the freaking heathen here. I'm sorry.
Where have you been living under a Dwayne Johnson? You didn't see Game of Thrones yet?
Under a Dwayne Johnson. Honestly, I haven't. No, that would not be the case, dude, because I haven't watched like every single freaking Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson movie ever made of all time. Although I have seen like the Doom movie, so I guess that gets kind of close. What's up, Lonely Wolf? Here, let me like send the link to another group chat that Lonely Wolf is in if he wants to join in the stream.
Well, yeah, I guess Fat Thor gave all us fat dudes out there hope that we could now be an Avenger. That's what it was there for. and I looked at that and I realized I could be an Avenger too. Even if I stuff my face full of donuts and don't take care of myself and work a shitty job all day that doesn't give me much exercise, I can still be an Avenger.
And by the way, to all the no bullshits of the world, it makes perfect sense as to why that Thor was like weaker fighting against Thanos than in Infinity War, and why ultimately he was weaker against Thor than even Captain Marvel was, because he hadn't brushed up on his fighting skills in 5 freaking years, people. So no bullshit. I don't want to hear no bullshit out of you.
Like I said, though, dude, he probably has already made a video saying that this movie was full of SJW moments because there are women in it who won't date him.
I tried looking that up on YouTube actually, and I did not see a video that said SJW moments in Endgame. I'm seeing.
And don't forget about this. With Fat Thor, everybody now War Corpse now has a cosplay to do.
Yeah. Don't milk the War Corpse jokes that badly, dude.
Yeah. Or maybe I don't know. Maybe Brooks will be an Avenger with the tagline, Brooks is no bullshit. He went to college.
Hey, by the way, Grim, the Vampire Dragon King, you want to join the stream? How can I invite him, by the way? Does he have a Discord or Twitter or anything like that?
He has a Twitter, Instagram.
What's his tag?
Oh, God. Twitter.
Okay, well, if you don't remember.
I know he has a Twitter, an Instagram, a Grinder account.
All right. Well, Grim in the chat, if you want to join this this hangout right here, tell me your tag. Your what? You got it?
I got it for you. Yeah, he has a Twitter, a Discord, an Instagram, a Grinder account, and everything else.
Grinder account. So. Hey, Lonely Wolf, how you doing?
Nice to have you back, Wolf.
Hey,
Hey, Lonely Wolf, what's been cracking lacking, my friend?
By the way, I might have overreacted with you slightly over DMs, dude, but I was legitimately slightly worried about you.
I was a cunt.
Okay. So what is Grim's tag, Conundrum?
It's Red Eye on Discord. It's Red Eye Evil Dragon.
Well, I seem to have a freaking hard time of trying to search up accounts on Discord. Twitter would be a lot easier.
I got him for you. It's on your Discord, Danny.
All right. Thanks for sending him the link. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, Fat Thor. I liked it, honestly. And all the people freaking out about how they supposedly ruined Thor, they can just shut the fuck up.
They could go suck a railroad spike.
Yeah.
Oh, another fun thing. They considered like having him get back into shape all of a sudden by the end of the movie, but Chris Hemsworth wanted to back throughout the entire movie. Having him. Hello.
What's up, Grim?
Nothing much. Have a great day. Have a time of my life.
Having the greatest day of your life?
Yes.
Okay. Your audio's kind of choppy. So anyway.
If you're having the greatest day of your life, man, how do you end up here?
What, Grim?
I low down the tune. That's why I turned the tune down a little bit. That's all.
Okay. Yeah. As far as like having Thor work out, I'm glad that they ultimately did not have him work it all off all of a sudden, because I don't know, it would have seemed too quick and whatnot.
Well, I think it was going to be like maybe he touched his hammer again and he got back into shape all of a sudden. I don't know. But that would have been
I thought they were going to do a training montage.
Well, do you hear the new Thor comic book called War of the Worlds, something like that? It's a Marvel comic.
By the way, Conundrum, you're getting reverbing from Grim.
All right, I'm gonna turn down my mic a bit and my TV.
So there's a comic that is centered around Thor, and what's it called again, Grim?
It's War of a Wrath, something like that. It's a 6-part mini issue comics. When Thor, where the world's corrupted, like Ford's main villain, the second one, I think. I forgot his name.
The main villain. As far as main villains go, the only villain that I can name off the top of my head is everybody's favorite, Loki.
Yeah, but he's a dark elf.
Oh, what about that?
Tiff. You mean you mean the guy, the doctor guy. Guy who
Yeah,
played Dr. Eccleston.
Eggleston, yes.
Christopher Eccleston played him.
Well, to what Loudmouth tried to say there, of course Thanos is like a villain of Thor, but he's kind of more of a villain of the entire Avengers. Like, the way that they... Okay, I don't know. I mean, this is not necessarily a good or a bad thing, but I just find it kind of... It feels kind of weird that they would have a one-on-one dynamic with basically like every single freaking Avenger and with Thanos. Between every single Avenger and then Thanos. Like, you have a one-on-one with between Doctor Strange and Thanos, between Iron Man and Thanos, Thor and Thanos, Captain America and Thanos in Endgame. How many more characters can we count off? Peter Quill and Thanos, Gamora and Thanos. Man, it's just wow.
Everyone encounters Thanos. He's like the ultimate Avengers villain.
The one thing I was pissed off at with Avengers, they did not do the Masters of Evil. I wish they did that.
They can only put so much in. I mean,
yeah, I know, but that would have been great in a movie, The Masters of Evil, aka the Anti-Avengers.
I also hear that in the comics, in one of the comics, anyways, Hulk has the ability to like punch himself through time, like do time travel with the punch, and then just think, I'm glad that they did not. I'm certainly glad that they didn't do something that's freaking cheesy as that.
Work on that.
What?
I wouldn't. Yeah, the laws of physics don't seem to add up there.
Yeah,
well, I thought they do in the movie, like the Thunderbolts, and they'll first appear or something like that going on.
Thunderbolts.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the Suicide Squad of the Marvel universe.
Oh, is that essentially what's supposed to be Sylvester Stallone's group of bandits by the end of Guardians 2 or something?
No, those were based on the original Guardians of the Galaxy. They were the originals, the OGs.
Okay. What's
the? Yeah. I know the original OG names. That was the original Star-Lord, actually, supposed to be. Because there was an original Star-Lord before the original Guardians of the Galaxy. Because the Guardians, that was the second generation lineup. How they did with the X-Men, like, the first group of X-Men were Beast, Iceman, Angel, Jean Grey, Cyclops. Then they did the whole thing with the second time, the most famous team of the X-Men is always the ones with Wolverine in it.
Right.
That's what they did with the Guardians of the Galaxy. It was a homage to the original Guardians, basically.
Okay. So, like, in the comics, there's, like, a first generation of Guardians of the Galaxy that is... I can't even remember the guy's name, but I heard his name mentioned, and it's...
Yondu.
Oh, man. No, Yondu did mention his name. I remembered Yondu's name, but I can't remember Sylvester Stallone's character's name. I know that Yondu mentioned his name a few times. I actually heard it this last time that I watched Guardians 2, but I can't remember it.
Yeah, and the thing was, Yondu was one of the original Guardians. That's why...
Oh, he was.
Yeah, that he was part of the original generation cast.
I see.
That's why he had that fin on his head. That was the new fin was based off of his original design in the comics. I'll even send you a picture of the original Guardians of the Galaxy team.
Now, I guess we'll go talking about other MCU movies. Guardians 2. I liked it a lot. Don't know if I like it better than the first Guardians, though. One of the big things is because Guardians 1 had more well-defined action than Guardians 2, and plus Drax actually fights a decent amount in Guardians 1, whereas in Guardians 2 he only fights twice, and very briefly too, might I add. But there's more going as far as character development goes in Guardians 2. If not, it's a bit rushed at times in Guardians 2.
Yeah, I know it's a little bit rushed, but you've seen the Rocket Raccoon got the scenes like 5 different times in that scene. 2 for shooting, 3 for talking. Because Rocket Raccoon got got the bunch of guns.
There you go. I sent you a link to the original Guardians. Starhawk, Martinex, the second Starhawk, which was a female, actually.
Okay. Meet the OG Guardians. I see. Oh, no. I don't want ads. No thanks. Get out of my face.
You don't want AIDS? Okay.
Yeah, I don't want ads or AIDS. Thank you for also mentioning that. Nobody wants AIDS.
Oh my god. Well, second Guardian of the Galaxy is okay. I like the first one better.
You like the first Guardians better?
Yes.
I love the sequel more.
You know, it's completely understandable to me as to, I mean, there's a lot of movies that are so comparatively good with one another that it be hard for a person to pick. Like, I obviously have my own preferences with these types of movies, but it's totally understandable to me as to why a person would like the counterparts a bit better. That being like Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. I mean, both of them are so good. I think I prefer the first one over the second one, but it's understandable if people like the second one better. As far as
I like the second one because it dealt with a lot of what really constitutes as a father and what really constitutes as someone's kid.
Yeah, between Yondu and Star-Lord. Yeah, that was cool. The relationship right there.
I love that line he said.
I do like to say that I like how the first Guardians it was like making reference to the relationship between him and his mother. I don't know. I was about to say a lot more, but then again, in Guardians 2, it comes largely into play as well, and what motivates him ultimately to want to kill his own dad.
Yeah,
but in the first one, they actually show it. I guess that's the biggest thing that makes it a little bit more well-defined.
And I love the part where, who reveals what he said and how Star-Lord just went all off on him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you know, and they got Howard the Duck on there on these cameos.
They what?
Have Howard the Duck. Howard
the Duck in the cameos.
Yes.
I don't know about Howard the Duck, so I would not know. I mean, I know what character you're talking about, the talking duck that occasionally arrives, but what's the origins behind the Howard the Duck? That's some like old 40s.
Weirdly, Howard the Duck was actually the first Marvel character that ever got a big screen movie.
Yes.
Oh.
No, Loudmouth, you're wrong. It was Conan the Barbarian.
Conan the Barbarian's not based on a Marvel comic.
Well, Marvel got the rights to him.
Marvel originally didn't originate at Marvel though.
Yeah, true. You got me on that technicality.
Yeah, whereas Howard the Duck did. So Howard the Duck is the first Marvel created character that got a big screen movie.
So what were you trying to say, Grim?
Well, Conan got the rights to the Marvel franchise. Do you know the pirate of Friends of Conan got a right for it was a woman pirate. I forgot her name.
Hey.
We're actually getting back on the Guardians, Danny.
Right. Sorry.
As far as Guardians go, trying to think. If somebody else has something else to say, like, by all means.
The thing is about Guardians 1 and Guardians 2, I love how the development, like how Star-Lord was estranged from his father and how Star-Lord grew up even more because everybody knows, and that's in the Guardians, Star-Lord is basically like it's a kid trapped in a man's body.
Huh. You know what's unique about both Iron Man 1 and 2 and then Guardians 1 and 2 is that those movies you can watch in continuity with one another without having to see any of the other MCU movies.
Yeah.
but even Iron Man 3, you could watch that without seeing Avengers, at least I think anyways.
Please.
But
Iron Man 3 is by far the worst of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies.
is it really
on.
worse than Iron Man 2?
Yeah, they took a great
Shane Black can fuck off, okay? Shane Black is a fucking moron.
Shane Black, who played as the Mandarin.
No, Shane Black was the director of Iron Man 3, who also
Oh.
made The Predator, the most recent Predator movie, which was one of the worst goddamn movies I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Okay.
I don't know if me and you can both agree on this. He's an untalented hack.
Yeah.
So,
According to him and his fucking Predator movie, okay, autism is the next evolution of mankind.
He is untalented.
Oh no!
I don't know what
Not
he's doing
autism.
in Iron Man 3.
so
Sorry, what?
So he's an untalented actor. He don't know what he's doing in Iron Man 3. Like a villain, he's not doing the right villain stuff.
no. Shane Black was the director, not an actor of Iron Man 3. That was my mistake.
Did not do the right thing. That's why I talk about he did not do the roles the right villain starts. He did not.
The thing I hated in Iron Man 3 personally is how they butchered the character of the Mandarin.
Oh yeah, they butchered
obviously.
him. They totally ruined that character.
Yeah,
In the
Mandarin.
comics- in the comics, he was about anti-technology. That would have been a great storyline, actually. But
Yeah,
no.
but of course it couldn't be done well because they hired Shane Black. As soon as they hired Shane Black to direct that movie, it was doomed.
Wow.
So I take it that Iron Man 2 wasn't worse than Iron Man 3 in you guys' eyes.
Not even close.
Okay, because I heard some other opinions saying that Iron Man 3 is a bit better than Iron Man 2. Like Iron Man
Anyone
1,
who says that has no taste. Iron Man 3 is by far, it's not even close, the worst movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
But
Iron Man
Man-
1 we can all agree is pretty much the best of the Iron
Yeah.
Man trilogy though. Right?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Iron Man 2 I love because of Mickey Rourke.
I like
Iron Man 2 was just okay.
I like Iron Man 2, or I liked it originally, just mostly because of the action, of how the action was more flashy than Iron Man 1. But I guess one can make a case that Iron Man 1's action was more gritty, like how Tony Stark was pretty much struggling throughout most of the ending battle scene, which in a way that one person could say that is what makes it better than all the action in Iron Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Iron Man 1 and 2 are okay. No, they are not okay, but they are best movies ever. 3 is okay.
Well,
3 is okay. They got a bad director on 3 that I really don't like and take away all the Mandarin's technology stuff. It is really fake Mandarin. There'd be... Where's the plot?
Personally, if they did if we could have went back in time and just finger snapped away that director, the villain I would have put in Iron Man 3 would have been Crimson Dynamo, the Russian version of Iron Man.
Wasn't Whiplash basically that though?
Kind of, yeah.
No, he was technically.
I mean, I kind of see him as that way. Ultimately, he does get his own Iron Man suit that can, like, have electric whips attached on both arms.
Yeah, but Crimson Dynamo was more based on the actual Tony Stark design, and it had, like, concussion grenades on it that launch out of the shoulders and stuff.
No, just have a proper Mandarin in the movie that's actually like the comics. That's what they should have done.
Yeah. And another one I could have thought of that would have been good was Living Laser.
But yeah, you know that whole controversy in Predator, in the Predator, where he hired a sex offender for a scene, and it got cut from the movie after Olivia Munn complained.
Oh, great. Predator, SVU unit, SVU.
Yes, that's the great joke. He hired a predator in a movie, Predator. So the movie wasn't really about the alien predator monsters. It was about Shane Black's friend.
Wow.
Oh my God, Loudmouth! Did you get that from Decker's Shadow?
No, I kind of made that joke independently.
Yeah,
Did he make the
he
same
made,
joke?
he made that joke originally. He's like, "You got a predator in a movie called Predator." Genius.
Yeah, he filmed a scene with him hitting on her, which was actually Olivia Munn's original introduction in the movie, but he didn't tell Olivia Munn that the guy was someone who was arrested for trying to solicit sex with a minor. Yeah, and was it when she found out later after the scene was shot, she started complaining.
Oh, great.
And that actually, like in the movie, her character just kind of appears in it without any real introduction. And I always kind of found that a bit jarring. I guess that explains why.
Oh, God, at least they didn't get Harvey Weinstein to play that role.
That would have been bad.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was, but somebody made like a review of Screen Rant's own website's top so-and-so number of villains and gods in MCU. Like, they were saying that, okay, I think it was like top 15 or top 25 villains. And they put freaking Howard Stane, is that his name? Or Obadiah Stane. Yeah. They put Obadiah Stane over Dormammu.
Oh, man.
That was just a real gut buster right there for the people that were like responding to Screen Rant's list, because they were like, what the fuck? Obadiah Stane hardly did jack shit. He's hardly able to affect anything when it comes to like strongest villains. Like Dormammu, he should be like on the top 1 or 2 or something like that.
Yeah. Let me guess number one with Thanos, everyone.
Yeah, the people from Screen Rant, they're basically being tasteless, uncultured swine, and just gone ahead and said Thanos, yeah. And they put freaking Loki at number 3. Guy wasn't even a villain the whole time.
Who was number 2? Ultron?
I'm not so sure. I would have to go back and actually watch the video, but it was just utterly stupid. And for the top 10 gods, they put Thor above Dormammu, and they put Thor above Surtur as well, even though, well, I guess there is a bit of a debate to have there, because when Surtur is smaller, he gets his ass kicked pretty much by Thor. But when he's bigger, the only person that was able to defeat him, well, actually nobody defeated Surtur. Surtur basically defeated himself by killing Hela, ultimately, by destroying Asgard.
Yeah, but
so
I have a feeling Asgard will come back again, because believe me, Ragnarok happened multiple times in the Marvel Comics universe, so the MCU will probably bring Asgard back, more likely.
And then ultimately bring back Hela. But I don't know how they would be able to fit that. They have so many they have so many plot points that they want to fit in here. Now they got this new magician-looking guy played by Jake Gyllenhaal in Spider-Man Far From Home coming in.
Oh, like, Mysterio.
Yeah, Mysterio.
Mysterio's a great character.
Well, yeah, I mean, no, I'm not necessarily espousing either way an opinion on him, but I'm just saying that is evidence of them like pulling in a full new plot line for the MCU. How the heck are they going to fit all these other things, like all these other ideas that people want to have Disney and Marvel do for the MCU and so forth?
True.
So
like, put it together sometimes, and
but we all know Disney will never listen to the fans.
Not really, but they seem to be overall be doing well with the MCU, although I don't know if any of it was technically fan response or whatever that kind of helped guide the Russo brothers on what they did with their appropriate movies.
I think what guided the Russo brothers was the fuck-ups of Rian Johnson, personally. Because ever since Rian Johnson butchered Star Wars and the reaction by the fans, I think the Russos took key from that and made their movie a lot better.
Well, yeah, I guess in a way they did like listen to the outrage of the fans, even though the outrage wasn't directed, directly at them.
Yeah, but I could see where, oh, let's not make another Ryan Johnson project.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because the thing is, what Ryan Johnson did took a world of characters and nuked it for his own propaganda, where the Russos took and James Gunn took the Avengers from their infancy and actually molded it and grew it and gave better story, better character development with each of the movies. They took time and care in the movies and really focused on a lot of their continuity within those movies instead of Ryan Johnson just bending over George Lucas and fucking him in the ass.
Well, James Gunn, he only directed the first 2 Guardians so far, hasn't he?
What was his name? Joss Whedon.
Oh yeah, Joss Whedon. That's another familiar name right there.
Yeah.
Dang, Loudmouth left. Good night, Loudmouth.
Yeah.
Good night. Well,
Take care, Loudmouth.
No.
I don't know how much longer I'll go on as well because I have been going on for about an hour 45 just nerding out with you guys, and there's not much more that is happening in this stream, and we're gonna ultimately eventually run out of stuff to talk about.
Oh, we have plenty of stuff to talk about.
Well, admittedly, I haven't watched any of the Marvel Universe films or
Not one.
no.
Oh, geez, dude.
It's confirmed. Lonely Wolf has been under a Dwayne Johnson.
He probably wants to get fucked by Dwayne Johnson. No, I'm joking.
No, it's the like I sort of get all the references. Like you see those all those little stones, and then Thanos like snapping his finger or whatever, and it's like it's a good diet plan, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Originally, I was supposed to be like interviewing Effeminate Degenerate a little bit earlier today, but I don't know. I think she might have got a little bit confused about the scheduling or something. Because she totally missed that time frame. Yeah.
Or someone's held a gunpoint and said, "Don't you dare."
Oh jeez. Don't bring up him.
No, not so much. I mean, him, and then there's probably other behind the scene.
Just type it in the little comment box thingy, majigger.
I'm not gonna ban people from saying Owen's name, but I just did not want this to be like an Owen-centered stream. I mean, especially when Loudmouth was around.
Yeah, I understand.
The name that I will definitely refrain from people talking in full length about is Shim.
Yeah.
You know who I mean by Shim, right?
Oh yes, I'll type it in the thing.
Yeah. I mean, no, that's not who I'm referring to as Shim. we gave a nickname to Jocelyn as Shim. But anyway, that's beside the point.
I thought Shim was this person.
But no, as far as Rin goes, I mean, she hasn't uploaded in over 2 months now any videos.
I thought it was this person.
Oh, Humane Mine? Well,
yeah.
Humane Mine is pretty irrelevant too.
Oh yeah, he is.
He just likes to basically talk to himself on his own live streams, not going anywhere, absolutely nowhere with his channel nowadays.
Oh yeah, basically he's the type that smells his own farts.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And also be talking about certain people behind their backs. Like I know that he talked to my 2 cents, I think he called me a liar anyways. Called me a liar, a hack, a fraud. He definitely called me a fraud. But anyway.
The person I want to meet is this redneck trucker guy. I want to meet the redneck trucker.
Reckless Trucker?
Yeah, I heard he's a pretty good guy. Yeah, I know he's...
He can be.
I saw him at a truck stop once, and he was...
Yeah, I mean, I talked to him quite a bit. I mean,
Reckless Trucker is a pretty cool dude. Although he's kind of in the same way as Cult of Ham in that he can be either really good or really bad, but unlike Ham, he doesn't get as hot-headed as him. Trucker doesn't, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
So, in a way, I mean, if I was not to just look at the person's beliefs, because obviously Reckless Trucker's beliefs are very well in alignment with my own beliefs, but putting political beliefs aside, he is still better than freaking Cult of Ham when it comes personality-wise.
Yeah, my thing.
He can be an asshole, but still.
My
Yeah, I
thing
mean,
is,
I don't agree with him, but I do like the guy though. He's like I enjoy talking to him and everything. I mean, because I think I talk to him a lot over on Twitter.
Yeah. What are you saying, Conundrum?
well, I'll make this announcement for everyone. I don't. Well, you probably know about the whole.
We're still on air, by the way. If this is something that is supposed to be of your personal life, I would suggest that you don't mention it.
All right. Can you stay behind Lonely Wolf when I tell you this?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Grim already knows about it, but he will be sworn to oath of secrecy on my behalf.
Okay. So anyway, that aside, do we have anything more to talk about nerddom and whatnot?
Yes, because we have more to talk about we have more to talk about Avengers Endgame. Do you know there are time travel, not actually time travel, but there are no to like shrink down to it and check out to it.
That they what?
I love the fact that Ant-Man wasn't technically an Avenger and everybody was shitting on him.
Because they shrink. No, listen. When the end of Avengers Endgame, Captain America will stay to a past because he's come home to a past.
We talked about that already.
Oh yeah, but Grim wasn't here for that, unfortunately. So give him some break.
Okay.
But yeah, Captain America, it was a bit of an inconsistency. Ultimately, I personally do like what they pulled there, but objectively speaking, it seems like a bit of an inconsistency with the movie, because the way that time travel works, the way that they explained it anyways for themselves, was that if you affect the past, you do not end up changing your present. If you affect the past, you end up making an alternative reality. You end up affecting an alternative timeline. I mean, anyways.
So you basically make a paradox, basically.
Yeah, because it's better just like Mortal Kombat 11, but it's better than that. It works very well. But
don't bring up the horror stories of Mortal Kombat 11, please.
Who was mentioning Mortal Kombat 11?
Grim. He brought up Mortal Kombat 11. Please don't bring up that horror story.
I know. Sorry.
It's okay. Just don't bring it up ever again.
I'm sorry, because I thought this be like better timeline to better timeline. It makes more sense.
Oh, speaking about nerd stuff, Darkon, what do you think about the sexual orientation of Agent 62 in Overwatch?
Oh, it's Agent 72. You talking about how they recently made him gay?
Yeah, and the other guy, Reaper.
Yeah.
Reaper? I didn't know they made Reaper gay.
Yes, they did.
They did.
Well, I don't know. Okay. I don't really care, but ultimately, personally speaking, they just don't seem the type of people to be gay. I mean, Soldier 70. Actually, I don't even think it's Soldier 72. I think it's Soldier 76. Actually, is his name.
Yeah, 76.
Yeah, Soldier 76. He just seems like the the stereotypical straight cis alpha white male old veteran type guy. I mean, he's always been that way in my eyes, but they kind of changed it. It's not a big deal, but still.
Yeah, I kind of like it because now everyone has their Soldier 76 yaoi fan fiction canon now, technically.
But then again, well, okay. As far as these characters go, which one would be the most fitting to be gay? I don't think Reinhardt would be. He doesn't come off as gay either. Perhaps Lucio.
What about
Lucio, you know the skating guy with the healing abilities.
Yeah.
The
what about the
master?
ape? The
What?
ape. The ape.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean,
God.
I don't really have an opinion on whether he comes off as gay or anything like that.
No. Yeah, but plus the fact he's not. He's just an ape, but
Maybe Roadhog.
mhm.
I know that Zarya, the pink-haired Russian chick, she definitely comes off as a lesbian.
I know that.
Yeah.
I'm so homophobic because I just stereotyped lesbians as a bunch of bull dykes. No, I'm joking.
Yes.
No. Hey. Whoever says, who don't say that lesbians with short haircuts are sexy?
I will not deny that. As far when it comes to masculine females, that they design Zarya all right.
Oh,
I mean,
come on! Did you ever seen Kick-Ass 2, the Russian chick?
I hadn't seen Kick-Ass 2. I've seen the first one though.
Oh God, I got to show you a picture of the Russian chick in that. Yeah, and you'll see why I say whoever says that should be slapped in the face with a trout.
Whoever says what that masculine lesbians can't be hot, can't look hot or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I guess more specific by masculine lesbians, I'm talking about like bulky, muscular lesbians, like not specifically lesbians that look practically like dudes in the face or anything like that, or even dudes by the body, because you can still have like a fairly curvy body, but you just look more ripped in the arms and legs and whatnot. So, waiting.
Right. Yeah, I'm giving it up. I'm giving it up for you, dude. Copy.
You know the.
Here you go. Kick-Ass 2, the villain of Mother Russia.
Games radar.
Yeah, Mother Russia.
Yeah, she doesn't look bad. I mean, when it comes to muscles, you can definitely see in the shoulders right there, but she's also got not a bad rack.
Yeah. And come on, with a lot of the wrestlers, come on. China from WWE, she looks masculine, but she's hot as fuck, and especially her Playboy spread.
Yes.
Hell, Beth Phoenix is another one. God, I'm going to wrestling of all things.
Everybody, we were originally talking about Avengers Endgame, but now we have divulged to wrestling.
We're talking about everything nerdy, Zach.
Yes.
It's a nerd stream.
Yes. Avengers Endgame. What about
Though around the world they don't speak the language, but your computer don't need explaining. I don't know. All I can say to you is I want you to talk nerdy to me. Something like that. Okay. I was trying to think of a parody version of that song because
I just thinking about to say, what about the double Captain America versus Captain America in the double part?
Oh, Captain America versus Captain America. That's pretty badass. That was like Batman versus Batman in Injustice, Gods Among Us.
Yes.
Actually, it wasn't as Batman because hey, it's freaking Batman. Compare Batman to Captain America. That's like comparing Snickers to Three Musketeers. And I'm saying that I'm calling Batman essentially the Snickers. What would be a better analogy? I don't know. What would be a better
Coke and Pepsi.
Coke and Pepsi? Yeah, Batman is Coke and Captain America is Pepsi. I mean, both are flavorful, but one is, clearly better. What?
Unstoppable.
What you say again?
Both are flavorful, but one originally had cocaine in it. There.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're saying that Batman has done Coke.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. In a couple comics, he did.
Oh, that would not be surprising.
Come on, you're talking to the guy who should be wearing a fedora and talking about comic books.
Maybe you should do that for your channel now.
That comic sucks.
Which, by the way, Conundrum, when are you going to get back to making content?
Maybe soon, actually. I'm enjoying vacation. I'll tell you more about what happened with the Adventures of Conundrum. Oh, yeah, I just want to say one thing to a little prepubescent shit cloud rapper. I'm not going, and I'm leaving you alone, so don't mention my name. And if you do, thank you for the clout. Goodbye.
Okay, and I won't mention that said prepubescent rapper's name.
Yeah.
But I will type in the side chat of who I think you're referring to.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gone yet. I really want to review something, and I just want to do something. It's called It Sucks, but I watch it. It's coming soon.
It sucks.
It sucks that I watch it, or I watch it. It sucks. It's coming soon, but I might work on a strip. Yeah.
Spill the beans. Spill the beans. What is it?
Must refrain from laughing. It's
Because it's about me watching the TV to movie shows. It really, really sucks, and I watch it for real.
What movie are you talking about? What TV shows are you talking about? I'm confused.
Well, the TV shows, the nerdy ones and the rage ones and nerdy ones. Pretend I'm watching The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead sucks.
Walking Dead. Not by what I've heard by the general consensus.
Me too. You must be smoking on the King salami to think it sucks.
I mean, I thought you were talking about what is generally, by general consensus, said to suck. Like, for example, Phantom Menace, Ratchet and Clank, the movie, anyways. And I thought you were talking about general consensus suck, not by your point of view suck.
SoundCloud rappers.
SoundCloud rappers, yes.
We're still on?
Oh, yeah, we're still on, Loudmouth. I thought you had, left for good there.
Oh, no. Not quite.
Oh, really? Okay.
But why do you think that Walking Dead sucks, Grim?
The Walking Dead sucks. I don't watch it no more because I stopped because some boy died in the last season. So I stopped.
Oh, I think I know what he's talking about. How they screwed the continuity over.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So speaking of people dying, Game of Thrones. There's always people dying.
Oh, me and my friend Princess Sakura have been watching that. I can tell you a lot about Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, I've heard about the ending of that. And sorry, what? You want us to shut up, Grim?
No, I'm on the first season of Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay. Do you want us to stop talking then?
Okay, I will stop talking. Sorry.
No. Do you want us to stop talking about it just to avoid spoilers for your sake?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, shut up. I mean, I have never watched Game of Thrones, but my sister has watched the entire series, and she was disappointed by the ending. And she explained it to me, so that's all that I'll say.
Yeah,
so I don't really care about
I'll just say that the ending was disappointing.
That's all we'll say. That's all we'll say.
Yeah.
That's all it says, because I don't want to spoil for Twitter followers, and I was mad at all.
So Loudmouth.
Yes.
So, Loudmouth, what would you say is like one of the greatest TV shows of all time, if not the greatest TV show of all time?
The best TV show of all time is Breaking Bad.
Okay,
I
Breaking
like
Bad.
it. Yes.
TV show for me, DuckTales.
DuckTales.
Woohoo!
The new one, especially the Darkwing Duck episode.
The new one.
Yes, yeah. They basically rebooted DuckTales, and they did a great job on it.
Does the new one like play in with the continuity of the original DuckTales?
No, it's more based on the Uncle Scrooge comics.
So it's a remake.
It's a reboot of the series, but they incorporate a lot of the Disney Afternoon universe in it. They had one episode where they were looking for a page from the book the Gummy Bears had. They actually had Della Duck and Dewey singing Power Line from the Goofy movie.
Mm.
Heck, we even get a full origin of Negaduck in the latest episode.
Oh, that is why that you have renamed yourself as the Nega Dark Conservatarian on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm basically your version of
I am the
Negaduck.
terror that flaps in the night. Yes, yeah, premiered 30 years exactly after the original DuckTales did. So pretty much all the kids who watched it when the original show when it first premiered are pretty much showing it to their own kids now.
You're freaking quiet, Loudmouth, for some reason. I wish that I had like settings available now, but because Google and YouTube are completely fucking over Google Hangouts, I cannot reach the settings and adjust your mic, Loudmouth.
Yeah, but the greatest thing about it is they got a new guy, the voice of Scrooge McDuck. They got the best guy to fill that role, David Tennant.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
AKA the 10th Doctor from Doctor Who.
Okay. I've never watched Doctor Who, so that's another series that I am completely out of the loop on. And I don't know if I'll ever care to watch Doctor Who as well. I mean, just on the outside of things, on the outside looking in, it looks kind of boring.
Yeah.
Well, I watch some episodes of Doctor Who sometimes, because not that much. Not too much watching the Heat with JOH. JOH too much. But my best shows are Star Trek: The Next Generation. That's it.
Oh, Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Oh,
I like
yeah.
Deep Space Nine better. Just me personally.
Next Generation. Oh my God, I have something to put in the comment for you, Darkon.
What? The fact that I like Deep Space Nine better than Next Generation?
No. You'll love this one.
If it's, oh man, if it's appropriate enough to say out loud, then I'm probably going to read it out loud.
That's why I'm putting it in here.
Oh god.
Oh,
Are you sure? Because these streams can get kind of dark on the humor, which I don't really care that much.
There you go.
Oh damn it, Conundrum! You could have just said that. Ren looks like Whoopi Goldberg's character from Star Trek: The Next Generation. Oh.
Guinan.
Very funny.
Now, Picard, we must be hypocritical on dealing with these Borg. We have to censor them. We have to block them on Twitter.
Oh, jeez. I'm pretty sure that in the far future, Twitter no longer exists.
I hope so.
I'm pretty sure in the far future that YouTube doesn't exist, which that means that in the far future, none of our videos will be in the databases for all the world to see.
And in the far future,
no!
And in the far future, Bullshit and Brooks is considered the greatest considered the greatest criminal in history in all Starfleet.
Don't raise him. Do not raise him up like that, dude. He'll probably be some subordinate of Lieutenant Barclay.
Yeah. I would more think.
Did
I
you even
think
go to Starfleet?
Hey, so Loudmouth said, "Did you even go to Starfleet?" In case nobody heard that.
No. Preferably, I think Bullshit and Brooks would end up would get Christopher Pike. Be in that wheelchair with nothing but beeps. Loudmouth got that one. Christopher Pike.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
I'm going to hell.
Yes. Okay.
But I'm taking Dark Khan with me.
Yes, as I go reading your chats in the group chat of this hangout here.
Oh my God. Well, what else? We talked about Endgame.
I don't know if there is much to talk about. I feel like that I almost want to like wrap up on this stream unless there is something else that you guys want to bring up. Like, what do you want? What?
I went during a bathroom break. Did Gamora come back?
Yes.
No.
Good.
Yes
needed
and
my
no.
Gamora.
Wait. What do you
Yes
mean?
and no.
Well, okay.
Okay.
I mean, they are. It seems quite obvious that they are going to bring back the new Gamora in for a cameo in Guardians 3 or something like that. I mean, it looks obvious just by looking at the end there of when that Peter Quill he runs across Gamora, being the new continuity Gamora. That almost seems to be a clear implication that they are going to bring back Gamora. There's going to be like some strife, some drama and whatnot as to how he remembers all the good stuff with Gamora, and then of course Gamora remembers none of that. So he's going to have to like basically start over from scratch.
Oh, a 51st dates type mechanic.
I
Yeah.
guess so.
And
So
for space.
But the thing is, I would like to see as a villain in the MCU, Namor the Submariner. Come on, with Black Panther, Namor was one of his greatest villains because where he was located, Wakanda was right next door to it.
No, he is a hero. Maybe he going against it.
Yeah, Grim. If they're going to start Namor off, they would make him more of the antagonist. Then you're going to learn that he's sort of like a sympathetic character.
But
make him an anti-hero.
I'd like to be a hero soon. Better know he's an anti-hero.
They're probably going to start him off as a villain, Grim. What I'm trying to tell you is this. With Namor, they're going to start him off as a villain.
Okay.
So you understand what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying, but later on in that movie, Namor by itself, he's going to be a hero, right?
So what do all of you ultimately want to see Disney do with the MCU now?
I want to see Blade, if they want we do.
Blade would be awesome.
Yeah, Blade would be
awesome.
Yeah, but at this point...
Yeah, reboot Blade, reboot the Fantastic Four, give Doctor Doom his own movie.
They'll reboot Fantastic Four as side characters in the Doom standalone movie. They should do that.
If they do that,
have their own movie.
If they have to do that, they'll probably have Doom and Reed Richards in their college years, more likely.
I don't know.
Because
what did you say? Wait. What did you say a little bit earlier, Loudmouth? I thought you said something after
their own movie.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Oh yeah.
You want
Doom
movie.
And I want to eventually see Wolverine fight the Hulk.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Smart Hulk or regular dumb Hulk?
Well, yes, regular dumb Hulk. But did you know that Wolverine's first appearance in the comics before X-Men was even invented was as an antagonist for the Hulk?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
that would be awesome. That would be awesome as if they at first brought him in as an anti-hero / antagonist right there. Sorry for the background music there. People are compensating for their dicks with their motorcycle engines on the highway.
Here's another make another Punisher movie.
Yeah.
They already rebooted the Punisher. They rebooted him as a Netflix series
already.
Yeah, I don't know if they should like really touch the any MCU character that has already been rebooted or remade or whatever in a series. I don't think they should or need to like bring them into the main MCU anthology. That includes Ghost Rider, by the way.
Bring Moon Knight.
No, they should bring John Brethrow's Punisher into the movies. They really should have him appear.
Bring Moon Knight the movie because he's standalone. He acts like he has the Moon Knight one. I mean Moon Knight. Bring the movie in for the solving his problems about his origin story.
So, what do you guys want the next big villain to be? I mean, Thanos was obviously the big villain that they were building up for ever since the end of Phase
Dr.
1,
Doom.
that being Avengers. Definitely Dr. Doom.
Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
All right.
Ultron. This one. We boot Ultron.
No.
Please, no. They already kind of failed on the representation of Ultron. And, you know, that's kind of the thing that I dislike about Age of Ultron is of how Ultron was ultimately not very intimidating, in my opinion. I mean, I like the conversations, the kind of philosophical conversations that you would have with multiple characters. Like, for example, they ask him, what are we going to do? What should happen to humanity since it's so sinful? Then he pulls a quote saying, "Ask Noah from the Ark." That line I kind of liked, but aside from that, they gave him a moving mouth.
I got to think about Ultron having the best. Hold on, Ultron is the best MCU motive of any villain, though. Yeah. He spent 2 minutes on the internet and he decided humanity must be destroyed.
He sold Twitter and Tumblr. That was his choice.
Okay.
Yeah, he probably wandered onto Onision's channel and he's like, "All right, that's it. None more of this shit.
No,
the world's gonna blow up."
Loudmouth. We all know what happened. He saw his review by No Bullshit, and he's like, "That's it. The human race has to go."
No Bullshit did a review of Age of Ultron.
Any species that can produce no bullshit would have to be destroyed, of course.
How about the biggest villain ever, Norman Osborn with the Dark Avengers? That'd be a great one.
That would be good, actually. Norman Osborn getting S.H.I.E.L.D. and making it into Hammer. That would be interesting, but it's a probability because Norman Osborn hasn't been introduced yet in the Spider-Man series. I think if MCU would do that, they have to have Norman Osborn in the beginning.
But back to Age of Ultron, though, what I was trying to say is Age of Ultron, I remember like in the cartoons, he always had this very intimidating and to me, when I remember watching some of the older cartoons that had focused around Age of Ultron, he always had this, gave me this sense of danger and intimidation. But in Age of Ultron, I mean, in the trailers, they kind of built up for him. But when the movies actually came out, I did not feel the same sense of intimidation or danger or any of that type of stuff.
There are no strings
when he gets his
me.
Okay, like when he first approaches with that proto body of his, you know what I'm talking about, when he first kills off Jarvis and becomes his own intelligent person or whatever, and then he just walks into the party that the Avengers are having. That was fairly intimidating, I thought. But when he gets his main body, it just looks goofy, mainly because of the fact that he has a moving mouth and teeth. Like, it looks like he has freaking human teeth behind his mouth. Like, that just it looks like a freaking Muppet with that shit going on.
Great. Oh my god. So basically what happened? So what happened? Did Ultron possess a sex doll or something and came to life?
I don't know, but what you say, Loudmouth?
Yeah, but I'm saying hold on. But, if they had gone the route of making Ultron more like Darth Vader, where you couldn't see his face or his lips move and he gave no expression, similar to in the comic? You think that would have been more intimidating?
I think so. I mean, especially with the result that we ultimately got. I think the alternative of his mouth not moving at all, of him just looking like a still, emotionless, cold figure, that would have been a whole lot more intimidating, ultimately.
Maybe.
And of course, people did not like Age of Ultron because Thor had like next to no development other than him like giving a wince and noticing as to how Captain America kind of nudged Mjolnir, which would then be later referenced in Endgame, of course, where he's all like, "I knew it," as soon as Captain America actually fully picks up and wields Mjolnir. But aside from that, he has no development in Age of Ultron, almost none, and I originally did not like Scarlet, and I did not like Quicksilver either. I thought that those two actors were kind of wooden in there, and their Russian accents they definitely need some more refining. Like they sounded shoddy. I mean, the actress for Scarlet Witch did get a bit better over the years, but still. Sorry, Loudmouth.
Did you find it weird that the same couple who played a married couple a year earlier in Godzilla played brother and sister in Age of Ultron?
Oh, the Ultimate Universe. That was dumb. That was a dumb comic. Those two making out.
It was.
Wow.
Yeah, and what I really love about that comic is that it pretends when Captain America objects like it's something old-fashioned like from the 1940s, he doesn't get it in the modern world. No, it's still fucking creepy.
Hey! Speaking of all this, I just want to make this comment before we actually go off air. Which I'm not going off air here right after this, but still, I just want to add that Scarlet Witch's tits are the best looking ones in the entire MCU thus far.
Yes, I agree.
I plead
probably.
I plead the fifth.
What do you mean you plead the fifth? You got an alternative opinion, Conundrum?
No, I cannot incriminate myself on stream.
You probably thought Pat Thor's tits were the best.
Yeah, you know, I already have a nice. I have someone with a nice pair, and I don't want to say anything to get them jealous. I'm going to be a married man soon.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, congrats. But yeah, I'm sorry. In all seriousness, hardly no mainstream big time blockbuster has boobs that big. So just saying. And that's nothing against or towards your fiance, by the way. I'm just saying. Saying.
Yep. I know, Dark Hot. I'm cool. Don't worry, they have me on Seroquel now. I'm more calmer now.
I find funny is I recall like in a live stream, I can't remember which one it was, but somebody was talking about as to how that some people would like test their woman's racks by putting a beer in between their boobs, and then you were in the midst of that conversation, and then Delirium just gone yelling and railing against you about even pondering that idea with her.
Do not think about it. If you think about it, I will give you a free sex change surgery with a knife.
Was that what she said, or is that what you're saying with me?
No, that's what she told me.
I think this stream just got too inappropriate for Loudmouth. Oops.
That's why I love her.
Sorry, Loudmouth.
So I think about the next big villain of Avengers, Dormammu for Doctor Strange. If the team needs help for Doctor Strange help, that'd be a better team up. You remember, because Dormammu got many of Dark's magic.
Yeah. All right. So I think I am going to cut off the stream right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Because if you guys have something more to say, well, I'm sorry, but it's getting kind of late right now. And besides, I think that we're ending off the stream on a fairly high note, especially with a good chuckle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And besides that, I feel like playing some Overwatch. It's been a little bit since I actually sat down and played some Overwatch.
Yeah, yeah. Go ogle your 76.
Oh god. No, I think Widowmaker, even though she's the absolute bitchiest because she like freaking kills her own husband, she ultimately is the hottest one of them all.
Yeah.
You know, the,
Con, you ever thought about singing the Overwatch song while you're playing Overwatch?
No, but I don't think I intend to. But anyway, for everybody who has watched this stream, thank you for tuning in. It has been kind of a fairly uneventful stream as far as the chat goes. Like, only very few people came in. And I would like to thank Loudmouth, Conundrum, at long last, Conundrum for returning. And I'd like to thank Lonely Wolf for coming on, and Grim,
Yeah.
first-time guest.
Yeah.
But above all, I
Mhm.
would like to welcome the return of the Conundrum.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyway, see y'all later. See you in the next time. Have a good night and stay safe at work because tomorrow's Monday. And God bless.